until there's no more left in me. Dallas Cowboys to the death for me. Dallas Cowboys to the death for me. I'ma keep ripping loud until there's nothing left in me. Dallas Cowboys, Dallas Cowboys, Dallas Cowboys, Dallas Cowboys, Dallas Cowboys, Dallas Cowboys, Dallas Cowboys to the death for me. DC, that B4L, reppin' that star, I do it so well. It's Puma on the toes, but the stars on the clothes. I'm Starboy, fresh at the DF Dub. Yeah, I'm a hard hitter. Don't stare to fit, it'll ego hit you. What is you saying, man? Look at the swag. Please do forgive the brag. I'ma pull up later in the cowboy jag. Don't you slip on the drip, I'm flossing the sauce. Go so hard for the star. Yeah, that be win, lose, or draw. If you take a L, get the F off my block. Cowboys win. Watch yours, pull up the shots. Really can't help it, got a star status. Even got it tatted on my arm. Yes, we be 5 green strong. Left a little room cause it's quest for the SIDS. Starboy really reppin' this shit. Dallas Cowboys to the death for me. Dallas Cowboys to the death for me. I'ma keep rippin' loud until there's no more left in me. Dallas Cowboys to the death for me. Dallas Cowboys to the death for me. I'ma keep rippin' loud until there's nothing left in me. Dallas Cowboys, Dallas Cowboys, Dallas Cowboys, Dallas Cowboys, Dallas Cowboys, Dallas Cowboys, Dallas Cowboys to the death for me.
Yeah, tell me who the number one fan. Yeah, Mr. Westside, I'm the man. Dallas Cowboys from my head to the toes. They better recognize who the fuck I am. Damn, haters run their mouth like a bitch when they team ain't shit and my team stay lit. Yeah, I'm about to rep this shit to the day I die in an all blue casket. If you wanna get with a club with love, tell Star Status Westside sent ya. Hall of Fame, Hall of Fame, Hall of Fame. Emmett Smith is our main. Game time, prime time, all the time. Your team ain't never on TV like mine. That's because we different. We America's team and we run this. Like Zeke runs circles right at defense. Jerry Jones, that's nonsense. Let the coaches coach. And I'll have a smoke. And I know y'all wanna toast to that.
Dallas Cowboys to the death for me. Dallas Cowboys to the death for me. I'ma keep rippin' loud until there's no more left in me. Dallas Cowboys to the death for me. Dallas Cowboys to the death for me. I'ma keep rippin' loud until there's nothing left in me. Dallas Cowboys, Dallas Cowboys, Dallas Cowboys, Dallas Cowboys, Dallas Cowboys, Dallas Cowboys, Dallas Cowboys to the death for me. DC, that B4L. DC, that B4L. Reppin' that star, I do it so well. DC, that B4L.
What's up with you guys? It's your boy West Coast. Yo, in 2020, I've teamed up with my hot boy Jalen Smith, number 54, to bring you guys some of the most exclusive eyewear known to man. CEV. I mean, everybody's wearing them. Make sure you guys go over to CEVcollection.com today and use promo code CEV West Coast to get yourself a hot boy discount today.
He gonna come on about 6:30. 40, talk to him about 30 minutes, and then I'm gonna jump off here and run up here and save my wife's life.
What's up with you guys? It's your boy West Coast. Yo, in 2020, I've teamed up with my hot boy Jalen Smith, number 54, to bring you guys some of the most exclusive eyewear known to man. CEV. I mean, everybody's wearing them. Make sure you guys go over to CEVcollection.com today and use promo code CEV West Coast to get yourself a hot boy discount today.
Damn, this commercial seemed long as heck. What's up with you? What's up with you guys? It is your boy West Coast, and we live in the building, man. How are you guys doing on this mighty Monday? A mighty Monday. How y'all doing on this mighty Monday, man? It is your boy West Coast, and if I'm on the line, man, you already know I'm always gonna have my cowboy cousin on the line, man. So what's up with your boss, Cowboy? How you doing this evening, man?
Hey, what's up, West Coast? How you doing, my brother?
I'm blessed, man. I'm blessed, brother. Hey, man. There is some hysteria in the building going on right now, man. There's some running down of the hallways, people throwing paperwork. We got some breaking news going on today, man. About 15 to 20 minutes ago, we had some breaking news, but before we dump into that, man, Deshaun, What's up with you, man? Curtis. What's up with you, Brian? I see you, man. Cody. What up with you? I see you, man. Who we got over here on YouTube? What we got going on YouTube? Let me see. What we see? Let me see. YouTube. I know we got you guys cracking over there, man. Hey, man, if I shouted you guys out, make sure you give you guys a share. If I didn't shout you out, make sure you give you a share, and I'll give you a share. Josh, what's up with you? I see you, man. Travis, I see you. Boss Cowboy, why get some folks up on YouTube, man? I know you see some people over there on Boss Cowboy Sports because I hit the button.
Yeah, man. I see Marcy.
I see you, man.
She said, sad boss. 72. So obviously, it's a lot of people that's down. Sean Howard said, "What's good, West Coast, Boss Cowboy?" Marcy also said, I'm not happy he would be taken care of with the love. So yeah, it's a lot of people that's, obviously feeling, real funky right now with the unexpected news. So yeah, it's
Okay.
We relate.
What we got big Willie over there in the comment box. What's up with you, Willie? Still, I see you, man. We got Dwayne White. Right? What's up on you on YouTube? What's up with you, man? He says shout out he says Boss Cowboy, shout out to Fredericks on your retirement. Hope future goes well with the family. Rita, how you doing? She says hi, West Coast. She says hi, Tyson. What's up with you? Rita, are you live? Wait, time out. Wait, Rita, are you live? Are you watching us on YouTube and on Facebook? Wow. Dun, 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 dun.
She got it on the television and she got it on the phone. She greeted.
Yeah. She really getting her cowboy knowledge. Hey, Miss Rita, I appreciate you, man. Hey, we need more fans like Miss Rita. Shout out to Miss Rita. Hey, man. Hey, can we also get a share? What's up with you, Rob? I see you supporting, man. I appreciate your support, man. Y'all see how the show, y'all see everything going around, man. See all the nice, all the nice digs. Y'all see that? All that touchy-feely stuff? That's you. That's the supporter. If you're a supporter.
And make sure y'all hit that shirt too, man.
Take it back. There you go. Slap.
We want to share so that people can get the insight of what we think on it. Because, I think we get it right a lot.
Yeah, man. What's up with you, OG Carey? I see you, man. Steve, I see you, man. Dan Trachina, what's up with you? He says, did we sign Deontay Poe, man? No, we did not. We did not sign anybody today. We did lose somebody today. Hey, man, we had some breaking news today, man. Travis Fredericks has called it officially a career. If you read his I guess I don't know, what are they called, man? Like his last, I guess his retirement statement, his little, every time someone retires, they always put like this really nice statement out on Instagram, and his was equally as nice. But one thing that I liked about his statement is that he wasn't very like bland, like he was very specific, and that the glutens, you know what I'm saying, that syndrome that he has is definitely part of the reason why he's retiring, man. You know what I'm saying? I hope he can do an Andrew Luck and come back, out of the blue, dun dun dun. You know what I'm saying? At some point, I think Andrew Luck's gonna come back. But if he not, man, shout out to Travis Fredericks, 7.5 years in the league, 5 Pro Bowls, 2 All Pros. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't get no better than that. What are your thoughts, man? What was your thoughts when you first heard of Travis Fredericks' early retirement? And honestly, man, what are your thoughts on like prior conversations that we've had about Travis Fredericks now that you see this? And hey, man, if I didn't say your name, like Brandon, Matthew, Rita, Travis, all y'all great people in the comment box, give your boy a share. What up with you, Doug? I see you too. Boss Cowboy, what was your thoughts?
I mean, I don't want to sound cold because I know it's a lot of people with broken hearts, but I actually didn't I wasn't too bothered. The main reason is I would be in a panic if I didn't see Looney for a whole 2018 season. And if he didn't play so good, what's up, Jay? And if he didn't play so good. So the fact that we already have a very, very good backup, and I'm not saying that Looney is equal to Fredericks at his best, but he's just as good or better than Fredericks at his worst, So, I mean, from that standpoint, I feel okay. It also makes McGovern, the pick, looks even wiser, so I feel okay now. But it also reiterates the discussion that we had about the importance of guard in this draft. It escalated the importance of guard because now Looney is going to have to pick up that center position versus we was looking at Looney as if we get a guard, he would be excellent depth for both center and guard. So would McGovern, So that whole scenario that we just talked about is now changed. and guard becomes even that more important. I switched a little bit after talking to Jaquez and Bob. I am still cool with moving down on the guard because from my recent study from going back and forth with these guys, I think they're right. I still think we can get a quality guard and move down where we pick up an extra pick. At first, I was thinking that because I love Solomon, but it's also about what others think of him and where he would likely be evaluated. So from that standpoint, and then one big thing, because you asked the question, you said, what did we say about this before? The big thing that we said about this before is it takes about 2 years to get your strength back. Matter of fact, West Coast said that first, and he said from this disease. So likely what happened is Frederick probably wasn't feeling himself in this offseason as he was preparing for the season. He likely didn't feel his strength coming back. And who wants to play in a game that violent when you know you're not what you can be? So instead of going out there being 80% of himself like he was last year, he probably was like, nah, I want to be 100% of me or I don't want to be. And so with that, he retired. But I also have a glimmer of hope because of also what West Coast said last year, because he might start getting his strength back, by August, and he might change his mind. Players have come out of retirement before. So I'm not putting out there false hope because this is something that we talked about before of the dilemma of trying to play football with his disease. So, and we had this conversation, like specifically where we told everybody last year, don't get your hopes up on seeing the same Fredericks in 2019. Wait for 2020 because that disease can linger for 2 years, and it's not 2 years yet. It would be around 2 years in August. So now we definitely did talk about that, and it was scary prophetically what we talked about, but nobody predicted retirement. But we did predict that it would still likely be lingering problems.
Yeah, man. And I mean, this was definitely one of those breaking news things that like a lot of times when I see breaking news for the Dallas Cowboys, like it literally like sits me down. I'm like, oh my God, like my season is instantly in jeopardy. And it's like when I heard the news that Travis Frederick was retiring, like it was almost not saying it was a relief, but it almost felt like a relief. You know what I'm saying? Because I think I always felt that Travis was going to have to deal with this. And I always felt like he was always going to have like the requirements of always being an all-pro center on his head. And it's like when you have that expectation of being great, and then that's kind of taken from you, kind of like taken away from you, and you kind of having to like start over. Not everybody has that push to make that push back. You know what I'm saying? To try to get there. You know what I'm saying? And if you can't play at that level of greatness that you feel that you should be at, then some of these new players, especially these guys, man, who are getting like a gang of money early in their career, you know what I'm saying? Like, when you have a guy like Travis Fredericks, who he was a first round pick, even though he was 31st, you know what I'm saying? He still got paid handsomely. Then at some point, he was the highest paid center, at his position. That means he got a really good signing bonus, a lot of good money. You know what I'm saying? So if you go look at what he's made in his career, man, what he's made in his career versus, trying to fight through this to get back to a level of greatness, some players just don't have it in them. You know what I'm saying? And I don't think that's necessarily, anything against him. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm going to be honest with, if you really go look at the history of this syndrome that they have, man, I think Mark Schlereth, man, a lot of these guys didn't ever return back to who they were. Like that was pretty much what the film said. Like there was guys who came back and played, and then the thing about the really thing that scared me about Travis Frederick in the syndrome was simply this was he didn't even know he had the syndrome until the week 1 of the preseason. Like he went through the entire, he could have gotten a jump on it, obviously if they would have caught it earlier. But you got to think he went damn near through the entire training camp without even knowing that he was sick. It took Antoine Woods smacking him and laying him on the ground, and then he went to San Francisco and went and got his own doctors checked him out and a specialist, and they found out that that's what happened. We can also have a conversation on why players don't trust team doctors, but hey, that's a totally different show. Because you would think a team doctor would have caught that, right? But they didn't. He went to an off-site specialist, and they determined that he had it. You know what I'm saying? So it's like there was a lot of time, I think, had he wouldn't have, had they could have caught it earlier, that's a lot of months that, that could have maybe prevented it. Or, another thing I think that maybe could have prevented this too if he just would not have played last year. I know that's something that a lot of people don't want to hear, but I think this could have been preventable if my dude would have just chilled for another year, man. And the Dallas Cowboys allowed Joe Looney to start, man. But it is what it is. Now, if you guys are wondering as far as the money, because I know that's a question a lot of people keep on asking, Travis Frederick was about $11.94 million on the books, but $10 million of that is going to cost as dead money. So the Cowboys are basically going to get about $1.5 million because of this deal added back to their cap. So it's like there is no like major cap ramifications. Typically there isn't when a guy retires. This is almost like a Jason Witten situation, man. You remember Jason Witten? It wasn't as bad as Jason Witten though, because Jason Witten actually retired the Thursday of the draft, like that morning. Like he was at practice. I remember because Boss Cowboy, they had a special walk around for a couple people out there for that draft, because the draft was in Dallas that year. We all went out there, witnessed the practice. Jason Witten's out there practicing. I go live in my car. While I'm going live in my car, I get a break on my screen that says Jason Witten retires. I'm like, what are you talking about? He retired. He was just at practice. Like he was just at practice. So no, it wasn't as bad as Jason Witten, but I think the Dallas Cowboys are in a great shape. The only disadvantage to this is that the Dallas Cowboys only signed Joe Looney on a 1-year deal. And guess what? If I'm Joe Looney, I'm probably going to ball the heck out, and then I'm about to hit that market. Because Joe Looney just made himself some money. If Joe Looney can get through this year and replicate what he did for us in 2018, I'm gonna tell you this right here: Joe Looney's gonna make him a ton of money because he only signed a 1-year deal.
Yeah, John Looney is kicking himself right now. Like,
well, I think it's a good thing because you got if he ball out, he hit the market again next year.
Yeah, but like, everybody want their money now versus.
Yeah, I feel you, because now he about to play. He about to be a starter on a 1-year deal. I feel you.
And like, if Looney would have retired last week before he signed, that would have added to his leverage, and that would have allowed him and his agent to say, "You're gonna have to up that price and up my contract because my value in play getting ready to go up. You gave me backup money, and I'm getting ready to start."
Yeah, now he on a Dak deal.
Yeah. And that's unfortunate, but that's motivation, but kind of still sad, because Looney to a degree hooked us up, because like Looney had the tape to say, "I'm gonna go out here and try to go get paid."
Yeah, he did.
But he stayed with the Cowboys. It's like his heart was in it, but sometimes your heart can get you burned, And I'm not saying he a bad guy, dumb guy. It's just the timing. Like, God, dog. It's also some more good news, West Coast, from what I'm researching. The amount of cap space is also going to depend on when he files for the retirement. So if
you're right, because if it's June 1st,
they said we can get $7 million. So
but as of right now, if it's put in
as of right
today,
now, assuming that he signs the paperwork and submits it now, it's going to be like you said, $1 million. So I was just giving both scenarios.
Great point. Hey, I think I lost you for about 2 seconds. But hey, man,
no, I'm here.
Okay, my bad, man. You fell off a cliff or two.
No, I just didn't add no dead words.
Okay, wow.
I just didn't add any dead words. And shout out to CV, man. We rocking the shades tonight. Obviously, I don't rock my shades at night like I used to. I ain't got nothing to hide. But we obviously, he's a sponsor of the show, Jalen Smith, and we want to obviously support his brand as he supports the show. Ooh. So anyway, that's why you'll see me occasionally rocking the shades and the CV, and you'll see every now and then West Coast do the same.
Absolutely, man. And I got some people saying tough day, man. Man, come on, man. It's not. Honestly, this is a good day, because what this is gonna. If you're a Cowboy fan, you're in a great position because you have a guy that's already played really good for you that's going to be in a contract year, and it's going to be for really, really cheap, and he's going to have to play really, really good. Like Joe Looney is going to ball, and he's not going to miss one snap, Roch. Like this, he like you're absolutely at the same point. His agent, but you know what? Also, that I could easily see happening with Joe Looney too. Like his agent telling him, like, "Yo, man, we're about to ball out for 8 games, right? And in about week 7, we're gonna start sprinkling a little woo woo on their head and saying, hey, man, let's get let's get us re-signed before we go into this push."
Yeah,
so
Looney
he doesn't
might
necessarily. Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. This could be an 8-9 game tryout for Looney, and Looney be like, I've already given you 18 games because we went to the playoffs that year. You know what I'm saying? We went to the playoffs that year when Joe Looney was our starting center, and he played 18 games for the Dallas Cowboys. And all that film looks pretty darn good to me. You know what I'm saying? So if he can put together, another 8 games, man, that's about 24 games, man. That's almost 2 seasons. You know what I'm saying? That's definitely a good some good tape to go to Jerry Jones and get yourself an extension. But most importantly, man, I need everybody to just anybody that watches film should be, we shouldn't be panicking right now. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, this is
that's the key.
Like, if anything, I respect and I love Travis Frederick so much because he looked himself in the mirror and said, you know what? I'm not going to hurt this team, nor am I going to hurt myself. Obviously, he said, I'm not going to. Obviously, he
slow that down. That was super important what you said.
Yeah, I love players who are able to look themselves in the mirror and say, hey, I'm not that guy anymore. I'm not going to steal $10 million from an organization if I'm not a $10 million player. I respect that. That makes me want to go buy his jersey. Like, for real. Like, a guy who's willing, like, I respect that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Whether me having to push somebody out the door and having to fall. No, man, this is a guy who was self-evaluated himself and said, you know what, man, I'm going to hurt the team. And I might hurt myself. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to do it.
And remember we said this, he might be back. So, because this is obviously not about him retiring from a lack of love. We already predicted that it was going to take 2 years, and West Coast and I was talking before the show, and we was basically saying he could have panicked. It could have been just I don't like, how you going back and forth with your wife and you're like, babe, I don't feel it, baby. I'm in the weight room. I'm not who I am. And then you can say, and think about it. We was talking about this. Today's contracts are like lottery tickets. So in today's game, so many people can walk away because of the value that they have in their contracts.
And how much money they already made.
And you already a millionaire, and you Frederickson, you're already a millionaire pretty much. So you have the freedom to walk away. But if he start feeling better, let's say if his strength start coming back, he mess around and come back. It's a possibility. We not getting y'all hopes up, but we giving you the clear big picture of what's a true possibility, because he obviously walked away from the game because of the disease. He didn't walk away from a lack of love. You could see the love in his play. So that's not the reason he walked away. So, so it's a good thing. And like Rob said it best. Rob Jarman said it best. I mean, nobody said it like him. He said Looney is now the best signing. I absolutely agree. Yes. Right now in this free agent,
wow,
Looney, if we didn't sign Looney, let's say if we let Looney walk
major hole
Xavier Suafulo, then I would be extremely bothered and I would be understanding everybody like what we're going to do. But West Coast said it best. How can we watch a whole season of Looney and never hear his name? And listen, that's good when you don't hear his name. It's bad when you hear his name. When you hear offensive lineman name, they're doing something wrong. When you never hear their name, they're playing good. We went through the whole 2018 and didn't hear a word about Looney. No holdings. It was 1 sack in the playoffs, but the whole season he held his own. So, we're good if you trust the tape. Now, if you're in love with the name and in love with the person, we gonna give you a pass for today of being mad. But if you really watch tape and you really evaluated Looney, you shouldn't be in a panic. You really shouldn't. You still should be more in a panic over guard than you are center, because we already know we have somebody that played that position and did well.
Yeah, man. I think we have some people because of this situation, I think a lot of people have, the heightened, their heightened aspect of the Dallas Cowboys possibly drafting an offensive lineman in the first round. I think it's kind of raised points. And my thing right now is this, right? You're about to give Dak a whole lot of money, right? And your offensive line was already compromised. Why was your offensive line already compromised? Because Connor Williams is coming off of injury, and he is your only listed starter currently right now at the guard position on the opposite side of Zach Martin. Now, before you had Travis Fredericks, you had the option of possibly having Joe Looney as your backup guard, but now he's going to be put as a starter, right? So now he's a starter he's going to be a starter center. That means you're Connor McGovern. Now, I know a lot of people have said that, I think the Dallas Cowboys drafted him to be a backup center. You know what I'm saying? That's kind of what I've thought about him for a long time. He doesn't move. I mean, I know he played guard in college, but his tape doesn't. His college tape does not preclude him for the Dallas Cowboys drafting him. The Dallas Cowboys like their guards to be quick, fast, and more like and move. You know what I'm saying? Why? Because we have running backs who can stretch the field. You know what I'm saying? Now, with with Looney being your starter, that means Connor McGowan, you got to have a backup center, is most likely going to be your backup center. That means for sure now you have one player, and that one player at guard did not finish the season last year. So, I mean, the hole at guard just became even bigger. Like, I don't even, to be honest with you guys, like at 17, I don't even, unless I can guarantee get the number one guard in the draft, like I can't even really take that chance. Why? Because free agency comes first before the draft. So I gotta fix this guard problem right now, bruh. I gotta fix this problem right now, because even though I have a lot of faith in, I don't like two wishes right beside each other's. Like, I'm wishing that this guy does good and I'm hoping that this guy does good. I don't like those two. I don't want a hope and a wish beside each other. I can't do that. You know what I'm saying? And I'm hoping that Joe Looney goes back to what he is, and I'm wishing that Connor Williams becomes something at some point. So I just can't have those two guys, because want to know why? Because a hope and a wish can't help each other. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm going to tell you this, despite Joe Looney giving up 0 sacks in the entire season in 2018, the Dallas Cowboys, as an offensive line, still gave up 56. Second most. You know who's number 2? Houston Texans, 63. Right. Deshaun Watson. Yeah. So I mean, on paper says that Joe Looney and Connor Williams don't play well together. That's just what the paper say. You know what I'm saying? And I know people are going to say, yeah, but he was a rookie, but he was a sophomore last year. Yes, he looked better last year, but at some point, guys, we got to stop hoping and just fix it. Like, you know what I'm saying? At some point, you know how you hear that noise in the back, that dribbling, and it just keep on dripping. And you know what? At some point, it's going to break some. At some point, you just need to get up and just go fix it.
Fix it, yeah.
Just fix it.
Somebody asked a real good question. They asked, could Jedrick Willis from Alabama play guard? I'm certain he could. The problem is more than likely he's going to be gone. Nobody knows for certain, Julius. That's a real good question, but I'm anticipating a run on the tackles, and he's one of the top tackles, absolutely top 3, right? So it's an epic tackle need in front of us, So I'm perceiving that that's likely going to be the run, quarterback and tackle, which West Coast and I was more so saying you got a better chance at getting the top guard than getting one of the top tackles in this draft. And then he also asks, who is the number one guard? It depends, right? So really, it depends on you if in how you see it, because people actually have differences of opinion. My number one guard is Solomon Kindley, okay, out of Georgia, and then some people have Natane Mutai, because he killed the combine, 44 bench press and all that kind of stuff. So that raised his stock a lot. But the guy film that I loved a lot was Solomon Kindley, and I especially liked him because of big games. And then somebody that I think is kind of a sleeper, obviously not a sleeper because everybody gonna know his name, but another guard is Shane Lemix out of Oregon. Like, I called him a mini Nelson. Like, he's a mini Nelson in my opinion. But he has a second round grade around 52. So, the more I really looked at this class, the more that I actually feel comfortable moving down, because I don't think in this class is a Zach Martin. There's no real Nelsons in this class, but there are some Leal Collins in this class, and I would say there are some Will Hernandezes in this class. And all of us would take Will Hernandez in the bottom of the first, and all of us would have took Leal the way that he played as a rookie in 2016. So I 100% agree with West Coast. Stop band-aiding up guard and fix it. So it's a couple of ways you can do it. Like Leary is an option. The West Coast brought that up about 3 weeks ago. A real good option. But the more and more I think about it, it's like I would love Leary, but it's like, would you want 1 or 2 years of Leary, or would you want 4 or 5 years of the top guard?
You want both. I want both.
That's good. Yeah. Yeah.
Like I need
And
to
so,
theoretically,
like,
I need
more
both.
the merrier. Like right now, Leary would be amazing. But then if you get Leary, then you definitely go be sitting at a position to where you are truly BPA or getting there. You're getting real close to BPA. You would have linebacker after that, in my opinion.
I mean, my thing is this: if I get Ron Leary, it puts me not in a desperate situation, because if you don't get Ron Leary, I don't see how you're going into the draft being desperate at guard right now, because right now you have one man standing, you know what I'm saying, at the position, and this is a position, and you're a running team. And I can't just – a lot of people are counting Connor Williams as a body. I don't count people as a body. I count people as their production. Like, if your production hasn't been that of what I believe is, to the standard of a guy that's been in the NFL for 2 years, then I'm not just going to count you as a body, because if that's the case, shoot, me and Boss Cowboy could go play guard for the Dallas Cowboys. You know what I'm saying? We're talking about, can we get guys in here that are going to be better? Like, that's what football is about getting better. I think this right here, man, you bring Ron Leary in, he's going to help Joe Looney. Why? Because now Joe Looney is beside a seasoned vet. You know what I'm saying? I think you get an uptick on Ron Leary. Why? Because typically people get better when they come to the Cowboys. I don't know why it is. It's just how it works out.
Yeah,
you know what I'm
they
saying?
get better, man. They get that cowboy bump.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm hoping he's going to get that same bump. You know what I'm saying? Then you can still put you can still have Connor Williams as your swing tackle, but most importantly, it gives me a year to really understand what the heck Connor McGowan is going to do. Because I'm going to tell you guys this: if we're in a position it doesn't matter what it is, but if any time in the season, if we're making Connor McGowan play because he has to play, we did not do what we were supposed to do, and we saw the results of that with Tristan Hill. You know what I'm saying?
Brother.
We saw that same result with Tristan Hill. A lot of people are out on Tristan Hill. Why? Because the film at the beginning didn't look good. And to be honest with you, he shouldn't have been on the field. He should not have been the field.
Let them slowly develop.
You know what I'm saying?
Slow cook.
Julius says he tore his ACL, right? Connor Williams, yeah. Danny says that's why we need to sign Leary and not draft an O-line with the first round. I believe you can get a good. See, this is the thing about it, man. I need you guys to good is not good enough for the Dallas Cowboys at offensive line. Like, I don't want a good offensive lineman. I don't want good. I want great. You want to know why? And this is why I want to draft a first-round draft pick in a guard in the first round or offensive lineman, because when have we missed on the offensive lineman in the first round? Every single offensive lineman we draft in the first round, you know what they do? They end up being all pros. So I'm also going to bet on that too. So, this is the thing. We need to stop settling on good. Like, who cares on having a good, like Travis Frederick wasn't good. He was great. You know what I'm saying? That's why we have a show. That's why we're talking about him retiring. You don't talk about good players retire. You talk about great players retiring. So this is what I'm saying, man. If you want that Dallas Cowboy offensive line to be great, let's go get some great players. Because I'm going to tell you what ends up happening when great players play around other great players. Ask LeBron. You get to play longer. People be wondering why LeBron want to play with all the good players. You want to know why? Because he ain't got to do as much. Because we can just be great together. You know what I'm saying?
My boy Kerry said already, y'all been talking about this Travis Frederick situation, and look how it came to play. And I'm going to be honest, Kerry.
Hey, shout out to Kerry. Appreciate that.
Say stuff like what we were saying about Fredericks, because we know Fredericks is loved. So it's temptation to try to hold back from facts, because it's gonna be pushback. Like, it was hard to talk about Witten because we know Witten is loved, but it was time for Witten to go. It was time, especially with the emerging of Joan, So we really appreciate that, man, that acknowledgement, because when West Coast and I stand on that cliff like that, we know we're taking a risk to get pushed off, and it was never easy. And I remember the moment West Coast said that, it was epic pushback, just on, how dare you talk about Frederickson? And we were just giving a fair warning, like, look, don't get your hopes up. It takes about 2 years, And when West Coast said that, I researched it myself just to make sure. And I was like, yeah, I'm seeing the same pattern, bro. It's taking these players about 2 years to rebound in their careers. And it did happen, like we said. Now, we didn't predict retirement. We just predicted it wasn't as rosy as it was being painted.
Yeah, and we also predicted that this was going to be a 2-year road back, you know what I'm saying, to him to get back, because it literally, I mean, basically it strips you of your strength, and then, it takes you a year. I mean, if Travis Frederick was an average player, like if he was just like an average center, then he could probably still play in the NFL, because it took him a year to get back to an average center. But you know what? For him to get to an elite, elite center,
Alex, with
get back
return,
2
man,
years.
We have a big hole. Look. That's
no, we don't.
Panic, bro. It's not a big hole. Like if it was a massive hole, we would have saw it in 2018. You had 16 games and 2 playoff games to see if it was a massive hole. Look, Zeke was still the rushing champ in 2018. Okay. So if it was a massive hole, it would have been exposed right now. So what we trying to tell everybody is just to relax, just, and we not saying that, because how people say that, and they say it kind of being sarcastic, like your fear is not relevant. No, but in this time, don't especially with viruses and stuff going around, don't create fear when it don't exist. It's false evidence appearing real in this situation. Like, trust the tape, like trust the fact that we've been through this. Almost even like with Byron Jones, we've been through times without him at corner, and we was okay. When Jordan Lewis in the Wuze in 2017 was playing the corner. So why panic as if we didn't see it before? So it's and nobody down in either one of those players, but it's the bigger holes is really not being discussed. Like what West Coast saying, the guard, linebacker, that the real holes is not being discussed. So if you trust LVE's neck, now that's where you trip.
Hey, I wanted to talk about that for a couple minutes, because man, my boy Stu Wood, Cowboy. What's up with you, man? I think that's Carrie over there. I think that's Carrie,
because Carrie, man.
That OG Carrie with them good. Hey, why your comments on YouTube better than your comments on Facebook? That's crazy. But he says this is really opening your eyes onto the LVE situation. I'm following that even closer now. I told him, great point. You are absolutely. I wish I had some super chat I could give you.
House.
Hey, remember the super chat is working. But hey, man, you absolutely right. Because this is that Kawhi, like, all y'all San Antonio Spurs fans, y'all can't be mad at Kawhi Leonard. You know what I'm saying? Y'all can't be mad at Kawhi. Why? Because the team doctor said, oh, yeah, you good. You be all right. Right. Kawhi said, my mama took me down to my auntie, and my auntie gave me a look, and she said, I'm not good, man. You know what I'm saying? These players are going to be taking and that's what it should be. Unfortunately, you would think that, the team, obviously, I'm not saying the Dallas Cowboys tried to, hide anything or anything like that, but I think when it comes to these decisions, man, these players are taking this stuff way more serious in the past, where you had players that would literally just play through it. But like I said, man, it's a difference when you're a regular center. I think Travis Frederick could have been okay, but when you're an all-pro, yeah, man, it's going to take some time to get back to that. But great point as far as the guard and the center. The reason why I feel that we're good on the center is because Joe Looney. I think the number one thing next year is getting if Joe Looney re-signed, because at the end of the day, he's played really, really good. If he plays good this year, you definitely put him on a long-term contract. He's young. He's already showed you some type of loyalty, so reciprocate that back to him. You know what I'm saying? If he play well, I would go to Joe Looney about week 10 and be like, hey, man, you done did real good. Drop him a couple million in his pockets. You know what I'm saying? Enough to make his hair go straight. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? He go home feeling like
Looney, man.
You know what I'm saying?
Looney one of those goods that's great for the locker room, man. He go keep everybody, man.
Like, he
And
gonna love to be a Cowboy, and he gonna be a Cowboy.
yeah, he loved to be a Cowboy, man, and he's somebody I want to see around for the next 30 years, even after he's done playing. He just like a good personality, man. It's certain people uplift the room, and he's one of those guys. And Bob Heck is in the building. What's up, boy? Bob, I really appreciate you, man. You really helped me on that guard analysis today, man. I actually kind of tightened up my analysis based on our talk today. I really appreciate that. So, yeah, Bob Heck in the building. Everybody say what's up to Bob.
Man, let me know this. We got a couple minutes before Mr. Kadeem come on here. Let me know about this guard talk, this tightening up of the guard talk. I want to know.
Yeah, I mean, like, I'm super high on Solomon. I was talking about Solomon at 17, but he was making sense because he was like, boss, you can like him and that makes sense on what you're saying, especially on guard being a need, but it's also based on how others evaluate him and he's right about that, because what I noticed in my time of watching the draft is that around this time, opinions start solidifying. So like if they start having you like around, like right now they have Solomon graded, let me see. They have Solomon graded like top of the second round. Usually when you starting to get kind of solidified right there, it doesn't matter how high somebody else's opinion is on them. Generally, it's going to happen right around what they projected. So from that standpoint, I was like, I would be okay with moving down because the projections are having the guards more so top second round picks than mid first round picks. So I could be really reaching when I still could get a value guard and a quality starter guard and move down and get that extra pick. But it took that back and forth with him and that honest debate to bring me to that, because I love the tape, but I also want to be greedy to try to get extra picks based on other people's analysis of Solomon.
Okay. So, with all that said, what it sounded like more than anything is you guys are more focused on moving back. That's what it sounds.
No. Because if I was focused on moving back, I wouldn't have been.
Because my question is this: if the number one, my question is this: if the number one guard is there at 17, are you taking him?
No, I'm gonna move down because it's more than likely I'm gonna get somebody like him or just as good as him, even moving down. Because I like Solomon, I like him over Shane, but I would be happy with Shane. I would be ecstatic with Shane. I would be happy with Newton.
This is my question.
That's possibility. It's almost like with the draft of Will Hernandez. You had Willis and you had Will Hernandez. Both of them was about this time was graded at bottom first, top of the second. Both of them went bottom first, top of the second. I would have been happy with either one of them playing my guard. So I'm looking at this situation the same way.
Okay. Can I say something?
And I moved down.
Okay, go ahead.
And I was flexible. I didn't want to be a know-it-all when somebody making sense. Like he was making sense. He was like, boss, look at where he's graded. I'm like, you're right. I like him. And I and I'm real high on him, but I also would take a chance of passing on him because I like him and Shane. I like other guards as well. Okay. It was a good strategy, and I changed my strategy based on him making sense.
Okay, now let me get my 2 minutes real quick. Now this is my only rebuttal back to you. I'm not gonna switch. I'm not gonna move on the number one player to take the number 3 player, because at 17, if you're moving back to 31st, there's no way you're getting the number one of anything. So if you have an opportunity to get the number one position at a position group that you're at need at, you take that. The reason why you take that is because you pass on the number one guard to possibly draft what? The number 3 wide receiver, the number 2, number 4, not even number 2, because right now they got wide receivers. They got at least 3 wide receivers going before 17. So now you're getting the 4th best corner in the draft. Defensive end, you're probably going to be at the number 4th best defensive end at the draft. So, I mean, the good thing about 17 is, yes, there is guys that might be somewhat better, but there is going to be one clear guy in this draft right here that is going to be at the guard position. So my thing is this: if you have the number one guard sitting there at 17, I think you take him. You know what I'm saying? Now, if there's a move between 2, 3, and 4, I get it. I get it. You know what I'm saying? Because there's going to be a lot of between when you get 2 and 3 and 4, that's pretty much the same guy. Or there's going to be a fall off guy. But if you have the number 1 guard is going to do more justice to me than the number 3 wide receiver. Because let's just be real. At 17, you need a lot of these wide receivers, the CBs and the CDs, all the the guys that we want, the CB Lambs, and my other guy that a lot of people are big and high on. That's already 3 names. So at 17, you're what? You're now what? Getting the 3rd best wide receiver. That's the same thing with defensive end, and that's the same thing with cornerback. Now, I'm not judging the entire draft because the Dallas Cowboys don't need the entire draft. You know what I'm saying? We just need the positions we need. Now, another position that might also be good there too is a situation where the Dallas Cowboys might be there where you have the number 1 guard or the number 2 best linebacker in the draft. That's another scenario because if in my opinion, the number 1 guard is still almost more important than anything else on this team. Because I'm gonna tell you guys this right now. I love Joe Looney, and I think Joe Looney's going to do good. But guess what? I don't have nearly as much faith in the guy beside him as I have in Joe Looney, and Joe Looney didn't play last year at all either. I have 2 guys right now that are about to start on my offensive line right now that did not play at all last year. You know what I'm saying? And the cunning thing about it is one guy is on a 2-year deal, and the other dude's on a 1-year deal. You know what I'm saying? So you have to do something at that offensive line. So yes, there might be some advantages. There might be some advantages, but my thing is this: if a scenario comes up for the Dallas Cowboys and the number 1 guard is there, man, I'm taking him.
You would take it with your risk tolerance. I mean, with my risk tolerance, I would.
Absolutely. We got a guest in the building. Let me get him queued up real quick. Before I get our guest in the building, we're gonna switch to a commercial break real quick. And I appreciate you guys.
What's up with you guys? It's your boy West Coast. Yo, in 2020, I've teamed up with my hot boy.
Okay, I'm blessed, man. Let me see if I can
you guys some of the most exclusive eyewear known to man. CEV. I mean, everybody's wearing it. Make sure you guys go over to CEVcollection.com today and use promo code CEV West Coast to get yourself a hot boy discount today.
Boss Cowboy, say something for me. All right, boom, boom, boom. All right, there we go.
What's up with you guys? It's your boy West Coast. Yo, in 2020, I've teamed up with my hot boy Jalen Smith, number 54, to bring you guys some of the most exclusive eyewear known to man. CEV. I mean, everybody's wearing them. Make sure you guys go over to CEVcollection.com today and use promo code CEV West Coast to get yourself a hot boy discount today.
So we, got some family that's out there too. So shoot, man, some pride up in here. So let's just have a good show, brother. All right, Boss Cowboy, can you hear me?
What's up with you guys? It's your boy West Coast. Yo, in 2020, I've teamed up with my hot boy Jalen Smith, number 54, to bring you guys some of the most exclusive eyewear known to man. CEV. I mean, everybody's wearing them. Make sure you guys go over to
What's up with you guys? It's your boy West Coast. So yo, man, we back in the building, man. And man, with all this talk of offensive line play, man, I thought I had one of my nephews slide through, man. We got team efforts in the house, man. What's up with you, man? How you doing this afternoon?
I'm all right. How everybody doing?
I'm blessed, man. I call you my nephew, man, even though with the beard and everything, man, you looking older than me these days, man. How you doing, man? I'm clean shaven.
I'm all right. I'm just taking it one day at a time. Same thing.
Shoot, I heard that, man. Well, I'm out here in Southern California, man, and it's crazy out here. Boss Cowboys is out there in Texas, and I know it's crazy out there. How is it out there? You're in Florida, right?
Yes.
How is it out there, man?
I mean, it's all right. They haven't shut everything down yet, so we're still moving. I'm still, doing my daily routine. So until they shut it down, I'm gonna just keep doing what I got to do.
Oh, okay. I heard that, man. Like I was actually had a conversation with I was on Dez Live the other day, and he was pretty much going through the, letting them certain players have been stocking up on like Pelotrons and stuff like that, and all types of different in-home things just in case this thing, comes and becomes longer than what it is. Is you doing anything like that to get yourself prepped for this if this becomes a long-term thing?
Yeah, I am. I mean, surprisingly, I did my run and my pickup of my everything else, like my utility, not my utilities, but my toiletry and all that way before the epidemic did all this. But, I just stock up on like books and audio books and stuff like that.
Shoot, I heard that. I appreciate you, man. We're actually paying him in toilet paper for this show, man. So I just appreciate you. I will get that
My
box.
man, deep in that toilet paper, man. It's in the mail.
Man.
Hey, man. So let's go ahead and jump right into this thing, man, and let's talk a little guard play, man. We had some kind of breaking news before we got the show on there. We had Travis Fredericks, NFL great, Dallas Cowboy, retiring from the NFL. You had an opportunity to play with him, man. Let us know a lesson or something that you took from your time playing with him, man. Let me know something.
Travis, that was out of left field. Like many other offensive linemen, I thought Travis was a 10-year better guy. But the thing with Travis, he slows down the game so much that it's like when he explains it, it's like playing football for dummies. Like he's one of the smartest, if not the smartest lineman I've ever been able to play with, because he just, for coverages come and for, offenses and stuff like this, he'll just break it down and just have everybody at ease. And when he's on the field, it's literally no change in his voice to when he speaks to people in person. It's just Mike Wright, we have this, that, and the third, and we're going on and play ball. I mean, that's a huge loss with him retiring. I mean, yeah, he's a very hard worker, and on top of that, he was one of the strongest guys I ever been around leg-wise. I mean, he was off the charts as a football player and as a man.
Shoot, I heard that. He said as a man too. Well, go ahead, Boss Cowboy.
And I want y'all to realize y'all talking to Kadeem Edwards, man. Kadeem Edwards, played for the Dallas Cowboys. So, this is a guy who's on the inside. He knows what's going on. I want to ask you, and we go definitely get to you because you're a free agent, and we definitely want to talk about, how you preparing and getting ready for teams that's go call you and stuff like that. But, obviously with this breaking news, we want to ask just a couple of more questions about Frederick.
Okay.
One of the things that I noticed in 2018 with his absence, it seemed like the communication was a little bit off on the road. Mm-hmm. Now, we all had theories on that, but you played in the room, you was in the film and stuff like that. Like, could you kind of break down, is there really a difference between road play and home play when you're dealing with a center that can see everything?
It is. It's don't get me wrong, Dro's a very smart person too. It's just you could tell the lack of worry or the wrong mic point or not getting self situated. It's just like the insurance that comes with Travis.
Yeah.
When you insert somebody else, when Travis was, I think, four, maybe five Pro Bowls in,
right.
Best technique out of any center that I've been with. It's just his insurance of, okay, we're going here. You could be completely wrong, which is rarely Travis is wrong, but you'll be completely wrong. But he gonna give you a sense of insurance, like, hey, we going here, and we all got to go together. We got to.
Yeah. Man, I heard that, man, and I like that. I like that that togetherness, man. I seen you guys all getting on a like a little private little jet scoot that going. I think you guys are going to Vegas, a couple years back and stuff. Like, I want to know, man, like playing, because I mean, obviously, when you come into the Dallas Cowboys offensive line room, is it like one of those things where you kind of like since it's like heralded as as the best offensive line room in the NFL, is it one of those things where it's like you're at the bottom, so they're like real, or is it more like an opening thing? Like, what was kind of like your reception, going into that offensive line and the expectation of playing for the Cowboys?
I mean, they have a standard, no matter if it's the low guy on the practice squad totem pole or 6-7 year Pro Bowler. You have to meet that standard, and it's all predicated on how everybody works in the room, from Zach to Travis to Tyron. It's like they compete with each other. So why would you slack? And it's just so contagious. It's just like, okay, if Tyron bench this much, then Travis gonna try to bench this much. If Zach run this in the shuttle, Tyron gonna try to beat him in the shuttle. It's just the competitive nature of that room, which translate into them being the best offensive line in football.
Man, I heard that. Shoot. Hey, man.
Yeah, and make sure y'all sure, man. Listen, we talking to Kadeem Edwards. It would be selfish, especially on a day like today, where we getting the insight from a free agent who definitely, has ambition on getting back in the league. But then he also has insight of, now they say the Dallas Cowboys offensive line have the most moxie on the team. True or false, and why?
Moxie, what you mean?
Like swag, like they say that basically, because the offensive lineman. Look, I played corner, man. That's me back there.
Okay.
You know how we treated y'all, man, like y'all was invisible, man. You know what I mean?
Okay.
But they say with the Dallas Cowboys, because y'all do a job that's unappreciated. We all understand that. Y'all super important, but most people don't see it, So, but they say it's opposite with Dallas. Like, true or false, to where y'all had the most moxie and everybody know y'all pretty much run the team. Is that true or false, and why?
I feel like it is a swagger. You got to have a swagger to make it that far. You got to have, even if it's individual swagger, but the film speak for itself.
Gotcha.
So if you cut on the film, the film leaks off. You look at Travis when he reaching a 3-tech, or you just cut on the first film of Zach Martin and Tyron. LC. It just speaks for itself. So everybody is trying to get to that elevation. It's a reason you walk. You don't see Tyson Fury, walking around shoulders bent, not, showing off what he done.
Right.
When he earned that type of respect. He earned that type of respect to hold his head up high, to walk around, because he literally just beat the most dangerous man on the planet.
Gotcha.
And that's the same thing with the offensive line. Every week, we trying to align ourselves to literally stop the strongest, fastest, most explosive people on this planet. And we doing it as 5, not as 1.
I heard that. Man, coming out of college, man, you was moving on that 40. I think they had you down as like a 5'1", 5'2" ish. Is there like a mold you would think for, like, if we were a fan, is there like a mold that the Dallas Cowboys are going for when they're looking for offensive line? Because it definitely seemed like you kind of fit that mold that we were looking for, leaving when you left Tampa Bay. So is there like a kind of mold that the Dallas Cowboys? Because it seems like we're more into the because you were moving coming out that draft, man. So let me know about something like that.
I don't know, because I'm not on the scouting department side, but I feel like I kind of met the mold. But they when they look at offensive linemen, they hit from all the starting 5. They hit, but it's just you got to know football.
Yeah,
like you have to know football, and I think when it comes to playing for the Dallas Cowboys, it's not only the bronze Hercules guys. You have to be able to process football and slow down the game, because if you don't manage to slow down the game can run past you. And I hope I was able to meet that mold. That's probably why I was there for, how long I was there. But I honestly don't know. I don't.
I feel you. Well, shoot. Well, I mean, obviously, you obviously met that because the Dallas Cowboys brought you in. We had you on our. We had you in. Technically, we brought you in twice because at one time we let you go and brought you in the very next day. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So the Cowboys kind of understood what they had in you. So I mean, that was actually a really good point, man. But I mean, the nice thing about the Dallas Cowboys, man, is like we've put like so much emphasis on our offensive line. Do you think that there's ever a time? Because I mean, Stephen Jones made this really this really bold statement when he said that in Dallas, it doesn't matter what position you play, we're always going to have the 5 best offensive linemen on the field. And how I mean, just from your playing in the NFL, like how true do you see that is, or do you think it's more about being able to play within that unit that's on that offensive line, or is there how is it like guys like yourself coming in and trying to vie for those open spots?
I think you have to be able to mold into that offensive line. You just have to develop this edge, this nastiness. And I done seen guys develop themselves. Like, I wasn't there, but I tend to, when I was there, when he was there, I tend to sit down and, pick Ron Leary's brain. He was so cool and laid back, but when you cut off the film, he played with so much anger. And you have to be able to take a man's will when he's unwilling to give his will. And it's hard to not have that mindset being in that room. And I feel like when you develop yourself into that, and you can develop yourself into that because it's a standard that everybody sets across the board. I just feel like not only if you can make it there, you can make it anywhere.
Yeah, that's go
Yeah,
ahead, boss.
man, I'm gonna pick up a question from one of our scouts, man, Joe Trina, and it's actually a question I had too. But he said, who was the toughest 3-tech or defensive player that you went against and why?
2014 Senior Bowl, Aaron Donald, hands down.
Jesus, please talk about that.
Aaron Donald is just a different type of person. He's low, he's explosive. He can beat you with speed, he can beat you with power. He's like, and I think that's why Zach rose so high up the scouting board, because he was the only person that entire week to block Aaron. That entire week, he was the only person to block Aaron. It's just his unique style because, like I said, he's explosive, but he's powerful. Most people don't have. They have a little bit of both. They can't change up their game. You can't stop and, bull rush a 330-pound guy right into the quarterback's lap. And how at the time St. Louis and LA was using them, they was using them to get basically 5 one-on-ones across the board. And that's the reason he was winning so much. And he's strong. He can split the double teams. He's fast enough to split a double team. As you can cut on college film. And I stood by this statement since I came out. I was like, if he was 2 inches taller, he would by far be the first overall pick.
Wow.
Now you said that you was doing some working out, right? So you obviously still motivated to get back in the NFL. So
yeah, mine's more so it's not working out. It's more so rehab. I had 2. Yeah, I done had 2 knee surgeries, so I'm trying to work myself back from that.
I wanted to actually, I mean, because you brought it up, man, I wanted to kind of ask you about it, because, I mean, just looking at doing my research and my due diligence, man, you was a pretty healthy dude in college, man. So it's like, can I ask you a real question, man? Like, is it the water, or what happens in the NFL where, like, guys like yourself, because, like,
that was part of, I mean, to be honest with you, I think like you're one of those few guys where like durability was actually in your scouting report. Like that was something that coming into the NFL that when I was reading up on you is like, each year you play more games.
Yeah.
You started off, one of the few guys that started off as a freshman, and then by your senior year, you was, starting every game, best in your conference. What happens in the NFL that like where guys just start becoming more injury prone. I mean, it's Unc talking to you, man. I need to know.
I think young guys, as myself, you don't understand the brutal aspect that it takes on your body and how the residual hits take away from you. And sometimes it takes guys 2 or 3 years because literally you have no time off for the first year and a half because you literally go from your last game, then you take 2 weeks off. Most people go and train. When you train, you got bowl games, scouting combine. Then you got 30-team visits. Then you got workouts individually. Then you got the draft to OTAs, from OTAs to training camp, because you can't get out of shape between OTAs and training camp because training camp is 6 weeks. So you get out of you work out, training camp is 6 weeks, then you got a 17-game season. So it's literally a year and a half, which most rookies don't understand that. And
wow.
The effect that it takes on your body, as in you have to keep weights. I didn't understand like why are we pushing so much heavyweight? Why are we you have to, as an offensive lineman, you have to stay strong, stay explosive, stay flexible. And I seen it, but I just didn't apply it. I just thought, okay, this is what got me here, so I'm gonna stick to what I'm doing. So, but I feel like the first thing is people just don't realize how much the body takes a beating and don't realize like you have to take your body on like it's its own business. You have to make sure you massages. You have to make sure you get stretched. You have to make sure you have your chiropractor, your PT. Some teams provide it, some teams don't. But it's all about learning your body, learning the game.
Yeah, wow. I mean, go ahead, boss.
Yeah, this is my last question too, man. If those of you don't know, man, this the guy that 2-piece Crawford. Man, why you give Crawford that 2-piece, man? Y'all know what I'm talking about, man. If y'all don't know, this the guy that was standing there. He did Crawford like this, like, "Hey, man, why you had to do that?" And then like the whole crowd. It's like, what happened with that, man?
I mean, if you look at it, it was just camp.
Just camp, right?
It's just like I think what had happened was, we just did a 1-on-1. The first one, I beat him, but people don't like you finishing them. So I think I slammed. So I slammed him the first time, and he got up. He was livid. So he was like, "You don't fucking finish me. You don't do this. You don't do that." Zach is. It was a whole irate. So me, when a person get irate like that, my first thing is like,
I'm gonna do it again.
He's gonna bull rush me. So because we had to go again, he's gonna bull rush me. So literally, we lined up again, and he did the total opposite. He swiped my hand, and he wanted to rep, and then he just went to, kept talking,
doing too much,
and as it's being count, and I don't say too much to people. I never try to beat my chest or boat anything, but at the end of the day, I am a person. I am a man. So when this, that, and that, And I'm just like, okay, like it's over. So when he walked up, I didn't walk to him. If you see the film, he walked to me.
I saw it.
Mm-hmm.
That's my comfort zone, and I just didn't
Right.
feel like you respected my comfort zone. But we talked about it.
Yeah. At West Coast, I did have one.
Go
more.
ahead. You can go ahead.
Like, I just wanted to get your opinion on this because I think like because Dez is lobbying to get back on the team. And I have this theory because I play ball. I've been in locker rooms, not to your level, but I've been in locker rooms, and people made a big deal out of like some of the statements that came out, like Snakely and stuff. And I said, in my opinion, especially watching fights like what you had and the fact that y'all made up, people don't realize that that's little in football, like words. You know what I mean? That people make up on that. Like that's something that can easily be solved in football because, like you said, it's camp. We fight, we curse, we've said worse. I want to get your opinion on how sometimes maybe people make too much out of locker room squabbles or public little words here on Twitter.
Yeah. People just take stuff and run with it sometimes. Yeah. It's all, locker room talk, which that's Sean Lee and Dez situation is not mine to comment on, just because they came in together. So they have way more history together than I do with them.
Gotcha.
So,
just passions.
Yeah, it's just passion. If you ever been around Dez and you ever been around Dez when he's working, he has the most compassion, the most enthusiasm that you'll ever see out of a football player.
Wow.
And you were on that ever. Ever. You were on that 16 team, man. I want to know, man, just my kind of final question is, what was it like being on that offense, seeing a young guy like Dak Prescott trying to, emerge while a guy like Tony Romo, like what was kind of like the dynamics of that? You know what I'm saying? Because I know you came in a little bit late, but you were still there during the good parts. Like you was there at that Green Bay game. You know what I'm saying? When it didn't work out the way when West Coast cried, I was there too.
I thought we was on our way to the Super Bowl.
Thank you.
Hey, first off, I was standing right there, me and Shaq Evans. We looked at each other. We was like, dang, he caught it. So, but I mean, I didn't see all of that development, but he was literally taking the NFL by storm because the preseason he went like 15-1 or something like that. I don't even think he threw a pick that preseason. Yeah. So just for me coming in and watching how him and Zeke just was embraced by the older people and he commanded like he was a third-year guy. He was just, of course, he's only doing what he's allowed to do. So he's, getting run, check, run, or run, check, pass, but he's sticking to his keys. If it's a loaded box, then he'll check it this way. And if it's a loaded box this way, he'll check this way. But if everything is covered, he'll check down. But he was making all the right decisions, and making right decisions while you're young, have everybody else at ease because they know you're going to make the right decision with the ball. And I think that was the biggest thing. He just didn't want to mess up. So I don't think he ever did, in 16, he ever did too much. He did enough to, okay, Dak Prescott is real deal and I see a future in the Dallas Cowboys.
I want to steal one question. Obviously, you're free agent, so you want to keep all your options in, so you got to be careful how you answer this question. But, Jason Garrett, man, you got an opportunity to this is my last one. I promise. But, man, like what was the difference? Was there a huge difference? I know how to phrase this too, right? Was there a huge difference from who we saw on the sidelines versus who Jason Garrett was? Like, at practice? Because at on the sidelines, you know, we saw kind of an emotional, not necessarily emotionless, and I understand why he clapped because everybody can't fly off the handle. That was kind of like his calmness, I think. Like you know how your mama be like, under her breath, she'd be like, "I'm gonna kick you," she'd be clapping like this. So like, what was your thoughts on Jason Garrett, man? And more importantly, was there a huge difference from him, at practice versus what we as the fans see?
He was literally almost the same guy. He was just he would try to be a perfectionist, talk to you, greeted you the same way every day. I think he came in at the same time every day. If we won that week, we would run to that goal line every day. Like, I think a lot of people get it wrong about Jason Garrett. He's very, passionate. He's very, he's a really good speaker. He does grab the attention of the room. It's just, I can't tell. I don't know what was the hurdle, because I was gone at 19 when the media said basically the team was quitting on him.
Like, what was your thoughts when you hear stuff like when you hear about NFL? Because I mean, from a high school level, I can see a bunch of little kids, but like as a professional athlete, this is how you pay your bills. When you hear statements like that, is that even a true statement? First off, of a team quitting on players.
I don't really talk to many guys.
Well, I'm just saying I'm just saying in general, just pro athletes. You know what I'm saying?
At the end of the day, my first year I was 2-14. We didn't quit on Lovie Smith, so you still getting paid to play. Like, and from that team and from the Cowboys, and when I was with the Cowboys, like, everybody takes the field to win. Nobody just, intentionally just give up on the coach. And yeah, I was in Jacksonville when it was bad. I was in Tampa when we was bad.
Wow.
No, I just don't. I don't see it. I just don't see, especially those guys quitting on Jason Garrett. Nah, I just feel like they just outgrew each other, honestly.
Wow. Hey man, Kadeem Edwards, man. Hey, man. I appreciate you, man.
Kadeem, you gotta come back too, bro.
Yeah, look, you got to, man.
Man, we got way more questions. We want to just talk ball with you. We don't have enough time to talk ball, and not even just to get in the Dallas Cowboy business to talk ball. But you gotta come back. Will you promise you gonna come back, man?
Man, I'll come back.
All right.
Yeah, man. When you come back, whenever players come back, like we had Chris Harris on here, and so we told him we had him on here last week. We told him, man, when you come back on here, you got to. I think he signed with the Chargers, right? We got to call him. We'll put a little logo. Right. Yeah. We'll put a little logo above his head. So we'll do the same thing for you, brother.
Oh, real quick.
Hey, can I? Hey, I don't know if you can do this. Can I get your 60 seconds? 60 seconds. The new CBA. What's your thoughts?
I felt like they gave up a lot just to smoke.
Wow. Can I get 2 minutes? Cause I mean, I want to know what's your. Whoa, okay. What's your thoughts, man?
I mean, like the Shannon Sharp deal. The people who made their money, like quarterbacks and running backs, you get an extended, I think a 17 game, but nobody goes over $250K.
Yeah.
Nobody.
Yeah.
So, I mean, training camp is still the same length. It's still 6 weeks. It's just one less game accounted for. So, I mean, we might see more jointed practices. But the thing is, it's just camp is so brutal. It's 6 weeks, no family. Meetings to 10, dragging it's no more tour days, thank God. But I feel like we gave up a lot to
smoke. Wow.
To yeah. Me and some of my old teammates, we have this discussion since it came out. So yeah, I mean, health insurance. I mean, literally, you got to get 3 years to get 5, and you get 5 to get life for them to cover insurance. I feel like they could have got a little bit more out of that. But I'm not the NFLPA rep. I just know what I see on the outside. It might, I mean, I might get beat. I do like the fact that it's 8 offensive linemen instead of 7, and they do have 2 more roster spots, and one is basically guaranteed to the 8th offensive line. I do like that. So,
yeah, that was my thing too, man. That was my thing too, man. Because it's like I hate taking away opportunities from guys trying to make it into the NFL. So that was like my only drawback as far as the preseason game. And then also it's like you kept everything the same, but then you're still requiring the players to do more. And the player, and and the thing about it that I didn't understand about the $250K rule, the same thing that we said with Chris Harris, is like they're still going to have max revenues on that game. So it doesn't make sense why you can't pay the player their regular salary. It doesn't make no sense. And you can prorate anything. So if a player's making $1 million a game, you just prorate it for one extra game. So it's like because they're still gonna have TV revenue on that game. They're still gonna have commercials. You're still gonna wear logos. So you're still gonna sell merchandise. So it's like it doesn't make it like it didn't make any sense that the NFL, like if I was a player, I would have really had to ask that question: where's the money going to? Like where am I going? I'm basically donating a game. I'm giving you guys a game for free. And any player that makes over $4 million a year for sure shouldn't assign it, because over $4 million a year, you're making almost $300,000 a game. So you're going to literally take that right out your own pocket. Made no sense. It made no sense. You know what I'm saying? But, hey, man, I just want to let you know, man, I appreciate you for coming on, man. I'm going to tell you, man, everybody that comes on here, man, this free agency glow came on here and they just go. I'm telling you, man, Kyle Duggar came on here. He was a projected second-round pick. Now they talking about he possibly first. Chris Harris came on here. He got $20 million later, 2 days later, man. I'm just saying, man. If you do get a big old one, we will need our 33%. I'm just playing. For promotion. For promotion.
Gotta pay your tithes.
You gotta pay your tithes. Hey, yeah, as long as you pay your tithe, you're gonna be good in this world. I promise you, bro. But, hey, man, but I appreciate you for coming on the show, man. And I'm gonna hit you up and see if we can get you on. After everybody gets signed and everything calms down. You have yourself a blessed evening, brher.
All right, you too.
All right,
keep hustling too, man. Don't quit.
All right, I won't.
Yeah, when I first met him, he was like, man, I gotta he was like, I'm doing Boss Cowboy all sideways now. He was like, yeah, I got to do it at night because I have my workout I have my rehab and stuff during the day. I love that he made it very clear that, he is not working out. He's in the process of, rehabbing and getting himself to get back in. So that's a totally different approach. I absolutely love it, man. Hey, man, I'm going to tell you guys right now, we learned an absolute, like, boss, don't you love it when you come on, when you actually get someone on the show and you actually learn something? Like, I feel like I learned something. You feel like you learned something, boss?
Yeah, and it was one more I wanted to get in there, but I wanted to let it
I
go.
thought you had one. My bad. I didn't know if you was playing around with it. You were playing around with it, boss.
What was this C word go likely do with the prep? Like, and what? Because that C word.
You know what word we talking about too? That word we ain't gonna use.
That this C virus is gonna actually cause more injuries, because people not gonna be they're gonna not be in their routines, And I wanted to get his feedback on that, but I didn't want to keep him too long. Gotta just make it, because we kept saying one more, but then we would both think of good questions. And
yeah, I mean, if you watch our interviews, y'all know one more really means 2 more.
Yeah, one more with us mean about 5 more.
Yeah,
because every time you say something, I think of something else. Like, oh, I want to know that now, and because he was giving good insight. And I would say for everybody that's listening, use the insight, because West Coast was really doing a good job of asking the questions to give you, like, what was the real feeling of the locker room. And like he said, from a player perspective, Obviously, he's just one player, but his perspective has to be at least respected because he's in the locker room. He said, "Nah, we don't quit on coaches."
I
Like
know that was dope,
not
boss. That was dope.
not like not consciously. Like it's not like we just like we quit. It's like he like, nah, bro. Like we playing the football and we going in that game to win. So stuff that might look like quit is not quit. So once
Hmm.
when we get too many players saying that, then that means we have to change our theories, right?
Yeah.
We can't force theories that's not according to the locker room. Another thing he came out with was, hey man, fights happen, right?
Hmm.
So
So stop tripping.
some of the theories we came up with, like Des can't come back because he had one fight with
Hey,
Son
did
Lee.
you
It's like,
did you hear
okay,
the word
stop
that he
that.
said?
Like,
Did you hear the word that he said? He said a word that I've never heard being used about Des Bryant. You know what he said? He said compassionate.
yeah,
You know what
compassionate.
compassionate means? Compassion means that you're caring about the person. Like that's
He's trying to get everybody better,
Yes, like he said compassionate.
working out. And
Working
then
in
he
working
said by
out, bro. How can you be
working out. So
compassionate when you work out?
that's encouraging. That's somebody, you can do it, man. Come on, you better than that. Even if he getting
Mm-hmm.
on you, people sensing the love that's coming from him.
When the
They
best player's a
saying
cheerleader. Come
and he
on.
said ever. Now this
Ever.
man been on multiple teams. He said, I've never met a man like this. Like, and we sleep on that. So it's like I really want to change based on what I'm hearing from the players. Now, if I still have the same opinion after players come over here and say, hey man, I fought Crawford and we talked and it was done. Stop pretending like Snake Lee is the end of being able to
I
come into a
know.
locker
Let
room.
that go.
It's ridiculous.
Let that go.
Like I knew that because I've been in locker rooms. I had fight with guys, like real nasty fights, and then the next we kicking it the same day because that was on the field. That was the heat of passion. We both passionate men in a passionate game. And then you say your words, you get mad, and then you dap up and you over it. Like it's really honestly that simple. Like a lot of stuff that we say we don't want people on the team for is really is why some people don't want people in corporate America, but that's football.
Yeah,
You
it's
know what I mean?
football.
So it's like let's not confuse the two. Like it's a real moxie alpha man game. They say words like he said. I knew he was gonna do this. He did something else. He won the rep, but he went too far, and I needed to two-piece him. And guess what else happened? It's
No, what
him.
he said.
In
What
other
he
words,
said is
it happens all the time.
boss. What he said is Tyrone Crawford walked up in his space because he got mad because Kadeem Edwards won the rep. So you can't
Yeah.
get mad because somebody dominated you.
Right.
This is
But it
and also
happens.
and then boss.
It
Think about this
happens.
complex too. Think about this complex. Tyrone Crawford at the time was a guy making $8 million. Kadeem Edwards is a guy who had been released from a team trying to make it into the NFL. Boy, you better hell yeah, I'm gonna slam you. I'm gonna slam you and I'm gonna sit on you. Whatever I gotta do to make this NFL roster. What you mean?
Right.
One guy,
Right.
what I heard is one guy was really, really hungry, and the other guy was kind of taking a nap and got caught slipping. Now, Tyrone
Yeah.
Crawford, that's the homie, but what it really sound like is whenever you tell somebody, hey, we fighting, boss. We fighting. Bow, bow, bow. And I'm going to tell you, hey, man, don't punch me in my face. Well, protect your face.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Put your
Right.
hand up then. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I'm trying to make a team. Like y'all can't, and even think about this. Think about this, boss. Think about this complex. When else did we ever see a fight like this too? Antoine Woods, Travis Fredericks, the exact same situation. You have a guy trying to make a team, and you have a guy that got caught slipping.
Yeah.
And slippies count
Yeah,
in the NFL. They count. Slippies
And
count.
people need to really appreciate some of our guests, bro. Like because you don't get this type of insight everywhere. And you don't get people that's gonna ask them real questions like, man, why you two-piece them? And how did you really feel about that? And he answered.
Hey, you know what else was even doper, bro? How the insight on the injuries, man. Oh my God. Like, bro, I thought about that too. He basically told you that, like, you gotta be in football game shape for 18 months for your for the first 2 years of your career.
With no breaks.
With no breaks. You have to be in football.
He broke down how everything was regimented, and if you really listen close, he was saying it's those small pockets of breaks that people can trip on. You know what I mean? And he was like, I learned that, meaning he also made that mistake.
They made that mistake.
So he like I was durable because I was in a regimen, and then I got into the league. I broke regimen because I felt like I'm gonna do what I've always done, and that's why I'm having the issues I'm having now. So he was very candid and very open and
Yeah.
honest, you know.
If you're a draft
So it
pick,
was
that's some good. If you're a draft pick and you're watching this show right now, what you're telling yourself is like, yeah, man, be prepared that like you're literally in game shape. That's like I'm ready to play a game for the first 18 months of your career. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
yeah, yeah. And he
And
also he what's up, Law? I see Law on the show. What's up, Law
what's up with you,
Nation?
Law, man? We just had Kadeem Edwards. Hey, boss, I'm gonna tell you something else. I got $20 if anybody can find me a player who can say on air, live on air, that they like this CBA, because we have had a slew of players on here, and I know homies. I got a gang of homies. Y'all know you got a gang of homies. And man, I can't find one player that like this CBA, bruh. And they're getting real blunt. My dude, what did he say, man? I was like, bro, what they do? He said, man, I think they gave up a lot to smoke some weed.
Man, I think it's that C word, to be honest. I'm thinking that C word is just winning for the owners, to be all the way honest, man, because it's a trend. It's like epic settling happened across multiple venues, like from the CBA, like a lot of them, because because they said it was no at first, and then a wave of yeses started to come through, but that wave of yeses was from the C word, the C
Yeah.
virus. And then look at the trend of these current contracts. These current contracts in the first week of free agency have been way like what was that? Like
Dudes are
low.
scared in
Like
the
not
mud.
just low,
Epically
not just a
low.
little bit. It's like people chasing security, you know? And I think the owners have the leverage because they know we sitting on billions regardless. These are these guys' chances to get a meal ticket or to get their foot in the security game of having millions. So it's taking, I think, the fight out of these players. Like I even heard that Dak is looking like his deal might get done this week, where maybe he had the tenacity to hold, but when the whole season itself is looking uncertain, you might be like, you know what? Y'all can keep that extra little million we fighting about. Let me go and just get this done. And it would make sense like right now, because you don't know what the future is right now with the C word hanging around and done actually whacked multiple sports. Like you don't know what's gonna happen in your sport. And then you don't even know what your preparation gonna be like. Will I be able to work out with my guys to be ready? If I can't work out with my guys, will that affect how I look on the field? Because nobody go care that I didn't work out with my guys. They go just care what I've done on the field. So like it's so much leverage saying settle right now. I think it's epically settle time for players, and the owners are just finna, to me,
Yeah.
wake up.
And my boy Bob Hibb says the NFL players are weak. LeBron said they should have gotten a bigger deal. I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't necessarily think it's weak. What I think it is, man, is the NFL has such a dexterity between guys who are literally still living like from check to check versus in the NBA, everybody's a millionaire. Like I know people on this team who are literally like regular outside of them playing in the NFL, everything in the is regular in their life. You know what I'm saying? There is such a difference between the guys making millions of dollars and the guys making league minimum. You know what I'm saying? And there are right now currently about 70, I think it's like 73% of the NFL is making between a league minimum or about 15% more than league minimum. So it's like you have way more guys not making as much money versus guys who are making a lot of money. In the NBA, you got to think like this. There's only 12 rosters on the entire roster, so it's very easily for every single person all the way down to the 12th person to be a multimillionaire. Look at
Yeah.
baseball.
And LeBron didn't see the stock market crash to below 1987 levels and
But
continually drop.
you get what I'm saying?
His
Like Kyle Lowry
negotiation.
makes $26
Like
million
it's
a
easy
year.
to
Like,
say
come on.
they weak when you didn't have the same market conditions in the middle of your contract fight. It's like, no, I guarantee a lot of the NBA would have been different too if it would have been like, we don't know what this C word or this C virus is getting ready to do to our game.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would have been some guys that's folded. So yeah, it's easy to talk tough and big man and you weak, I'm strong. Now you didn't have the same environment. It's not at all equal environments. Like, because I felt like most of the guys was gearing up to be no, because they
Yeah.
said it was mostly no, and the yes votes started to come in at the end. The
Yeah.
only thing that changed was the condition of our country with this pandemic. That's it.
But
You know what I mean?
But to give LeBron a little bit, I will say I will support him a little bit because football players, when they do the contract, they do get the raw end of the deal. Imagine if someone was to tell LeBron James that, hey, LeBron, you can't leave to go to the not to Atlanta. You can't leave to go to the Miami Hawks. Why? Because we're going to franchise tag you and make you stay here in Cleveland.
I just read Bob coming.
Imagine if somebody would have told LeBron that. Imagine if they would have told LeBron, no, LeBron, you can't leave Cleveland. We're gonna franchise tag you. Imagine if OKC would have told OKC, no, Kevin Durant, you cannot go to OKC in free agency. No, you will not go.
Right.
We're gonna franchise tag you and hold you for a year. Basketball players wouldn't let that go down. They would not let that go. They would, and I'm gonna tell you the cool thing about the NBA. Let me tell you the biggest thing about the NBA is if the NBA striked, since everybody's making money, guess what? They probably wouldn't show up because everybody's paid. In the NFL, if they strike, it's gonna be some kid. My little brother gonna go try out because I'm gonna call him like, hey man, they striking. Yeah, we don't agree with this, but guess what? This is your opportunity. You know what I'm saying?
Let me echo your point on that in a different way. That's super smart.
LeBron does need to shut up, though. Go ahead.
What I'm saying, what you're saying, because look how they set up the agreement. They set it up to divide the halves from the half
and from the have-nots.
That's exactly what they did. So for when they said on week 17, you're gonna max out at 250. That pretty much told all the lower wage players, you're going to get all of yours. But what they did with that is they took the leadership voice out of all locker rooms.
Yep.
Because now they put an inward fight in the first proposal.
Because you're like, why would I listen to him? You make more money than me. Of course you don't want to make it. The same stuff regular people say.
Super played this. That was such a very genius move by the leadership of the people that was negotiating, and I know Jerry was in that. It's just smart. He divided them in the first proposal, he split the halves from the have-not, and they took advantage of what you just said. The difference between the NBA is like everybody's millionaires versus you have people that's 600,000aires, or and you have millionaires, and there's a big divide between those, and so every agreement every 10 years, especially with it working so good this time, they go stoke that every time because it got them an epic deal this time.
Yep. Yeah, it's like what you always say, if I could push that button one time a day and it was going to spit out $1 million, how many times would you push that one button?
Man, push it every day.
You push it every day, 50, 60 times. 50, 60 times. Man, something. I got a lot out of him, man. And I'm going to tell you something, that the last thing that I want to say before we get out of here, man. One thing I got out of him, man, is, man, he said that 2016, I thought we was going to the Super Bowl.
Bro, he said that was straight.
He said that like a straight fan, like he was a Cowboy fan. I thought we was going to the Super Bowl.
He said that and that's an insider, y'all. He was saying they was because it felt like magic, bro. That's why nobody can be mad at Dak versus Romo.
Nope.
You know what I mean? Because it was magical, bro.
It was magical. Even the players felt it.
They was like, bro, this is unbelievable what's happening, how they was rocking, bro. Like, and people on the outside was saying, you don't see people win 11 games straight ever. You don't see that. He was like, you can't break that up. You can't unanoint the leader. You can't.
Yeah.
Because this type of lightning don't strike twice. You gotta, corral this. It's and when you see it from a player, that's totally different than me and you West Coast as fans. Like, that's an insider, like, bro, like, you couldn't have told me we wasn't getting ready to go.
Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. As a fan, we all believe that this is Super Bowl every single year. But just to hear him say it was cool. But honestly, the excitement in his voice, that's what really solidified to me. Like, if you ask him, like, what was the best, I'm pretty sure if we would have asked him what was the best, I'm pretty sure he would have said that team. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But yeah. I love, how he expounded on his, the leadership with Dak Prescott and, the different things like that. And I love the fact that he remembered. Think about this. This dude knew exactly where he was when the tight end caught the ball. He knew exactly where he was and exactly who he was standing by when that season ended. Like that's some real belief system. Them boys was really believing 2016 we was taking that thing all the way, man. We got to get back there, man. We got to get back there. That was encouraging to hear, man. I ain't gonna lie, Boss Cowboy. That was real encouraging.
And I'm gonna be honest, West Coast. I think we on our way. I really do. I think if we can just get past this C virus, I'm so excited about what the Dallas Cowboys are doing. You know, it's like I'm seeing epic common sense. Like usually there's a bump somewhere in free agency that pisses me off. It's really nothing but the fact that they ain't signed Dak yet. That's the only thing that's kind of like, and I feel like they go sign them soon because they're getting into the best parts of Dallas, which is week 2 and week 3. So eventually they're going to have to free up more cash. And the best way to do that is to sign Dak. That's going to take that tag that's eating up all the cap, you know? So it's, you know, I'm excited that we have the right coach. We got a big boy in the middle. We obviously trying to get 2, and we predicted that. And I put that, and it's in writing. I put that in the Boss Cowboy off-season guide that we will likely target 2 value defensive ends. And I said that we would likely target safety so that we can go into the draft not feeling like we got to go reach for Delpit. And I'm not saying he'll reach, but you know what I'm saying? Like feeling like going into the draft like, oh, we got to get this guy. We build in free agency like we always do. That's why my predictions was right, because we go in and fill our holes in free agency and we band-aid them so that we don't have to reach. And they doing a really good job. Like you hearing the rumors that's coming out of them looking at Sue, Poe, right? Daniels, Snacks, right? And these was the guys that we was talking about last year that they missed on West Coast, and they going to get them. Like if you mad right now and you're a Dallas Cowboy fan, it's like, man, it's like you got to stop and really just smell the roses and be happy sometimes, because we're doing stuff that we haven't done in like 10 years. Like when was the last time we went and got a big nasty? And we trying to get 2 in one off season, and they openly saying we talking to Snacks, we trying to get Snacks, even though he denied it. You might have felt shame. They might have told him, no, you want too much. I don't know. But we surely been putting out through our sources that we trying to get stuff that we've been talking about for years. Yeah. You know? So it's just not a time to be mad. Yeah, is everything perfect? No. Yeah. But man, shoot, man, it's like, bro, now we building, and we building right.
Yeah, man. I'm just happy, man, that we're you know, that everything is going in the right direction. Before in the past, we would have we'd have that stinky fart smell like Young Stank over there on YouTube. Shout out, appreciate you, man, for the $2 super chat. You know what I'm saying? But you're absolutely right, man. My boy Quest Cowboy, you a fool, man. That's what I was laughing. You crazy. And shout out to everybody over there on YouTube Nation. But, yeah, man, the Cowboys are playing it right, and they're putting themselves in a position where you're not going to be thirsty in the draft, because you don't want to be thirsty in the draft, man. You want to go in the draft feeling real comfortable, rubbing your belly like, man, you know how you be walking to a restaurant, you just ate something, you be rubbing your belly, and you got a little toothpick in your mouth like, man, I mean, I can eat. You know what I'm saying? Ooh. I can eat, you know what I'm saying? But I ain't going to be thirsty for it.
I'm going to be in there 3 hours. I'm going to let all that food digest.
Yeah, man. That's how you supposed to play it. But, hey, man, you guys already know what it is, man. Boss Cowboy, let them know where they can find you at, man. We'll be live in the building tomorrow.
Hey, Boss Cowboy Sports. Yeah, find me at Boss Cowboy Sports.
Hey, tomorrow we're supposed to have Jake from EBSN Network on the show. He is he's a blogger just like us, but he covers the Ohio State Buckeyes. Guy got media passes and everything. So we're going to be I'm supposed to have him on the show at I'll let you guys know what time he's going to be coming on, but he'll be on the show at some point tomorrow, and we'll be talking to him about all things Ohio State football that are related to the Dallas Cowboys. So, and this guy is also a Cowboy fan, so it makes life a lot easier too. So if you have some questions about some guy, you know, your Jeff kid, you know, who I think is probably going to be not there at 17. But if there's anybody else if there's anybody else in this draft that you're interested that plays for Ohio State, my boy Jake will definitely know. So make sure you guys tune in tomorrow. But, hey, man, until then, you guys already know what it is, man. Never look down because the star is up. Peace. What's up with you guys? It's your boy West Coast. Yo, in 2020, I've teamed up with my hot boy, Jalen Smith, number 54, to bring you guys some of the most exclusive eyewear known to man. CEV. I mean, everybody's wearing them. Make sure you guys go over to CEVcollection.com today and use promo code CEV West Coast to get yourself a hot boy discount today. Hey, that was smart though, right? Yeah, because I did not want to cancel this, bro. I did not.
What's up with you guys? It's your boy
Yeah,
West
man,
Coast.
in
In 2020, I've teamed up with my hot boy, Jalen Smith, number 54, to bring you
What it
guys some
also
of the
let me
most
know, man,
exclusive
like, I got
eyewear known to man. CEV. I mean, everybody's wearing them. Make sure you guys go over to CEVcollection.com today and use promo code CEV West Coast to get yourself a hot boy discount today.
Oh my gosh, she took the pressure off by not like going like weird on me. You know what I'm saying?